Hello and a very warm welcome to today's video. In today's video we're going to be actually answering your questions. You see, I get quite a few questions coming along, and especially lately regarding QuickBooks Sole Trader. So I've replied to majority of them as I go along, but also we can use this opportunity to try and figure out answering all of your questions around QuickBooks Sole Trader and see if we can get that knowledge around to everybody else. So stay tuned as we go and figure out what your biggest issues with QuickBooks Sole Trader is at the moment in time. Hello, my name is Patrick. I am a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer with a fancy new logo, that QuickBooks chap on the internet, head of accounts here at Bookkeeping, your friendly podcast that goes live each and every Monday morning for Ask the Accountant. Now in today's video we're going to be talking about how your questions relating to QuickBooks Sole Trader have been coming in the drips and drabs, and we want to be going through making sure that you get all those questions answered. So let's not waste any more time, let's get straight into it and answer those individual questions. So the first one that I keep getting asked a lot is, why should I move? Why should I move from QuickBooks Self-Employed to QuickBooks Sole Trader? And there's a big reason for that. Mainly that reason is because unfortunately QuickBooks Self-Employed won't be supported forever and a day. There is a timeline of when that software is what we term as going to be sunsetted. So the best thing to do is get yourself off that platform as soon as possible and start utilizing the new platform whenever you possibly can. Now, I'm not saying that we have to move straight away, because there is going to be a couple of years where QuickBooks Self-Employed is going to be usable, but there are little things that really makes it difficult for you to continue using it today. The main one is the App Store. You can't go and download the QuickBooks Self-Employed app anymore. That is not available for you. So unless you've already got that app installed, you really are forced to go into QuickBooks Sole Trader. There are some major benefits of QuickBooks Sole Trader. First and foremost, it is far more reliable when it comes to that bank connection. We're getting what's called double entry bookkeeping directly into the system, and it's using the glorious bits of AI to make sure that actually your whole process of dealing with transactions is so much more cleaner and more efficient than it was on QuickBooks Self-Employed. So let me be clear, we're not going like for like. There are subtle differences between the systems, and if I'm completely honest, there's some features that haven't yet brought themselves over that we really liked in the QuickBooks Self-Employed area. But QuickBooks Sole Trader is a really, really good product, and in theory it's the best of both worlds. It's the full-blown QuickBooks with all of that stableness and not loss of data and anything else that sometimes can happen with QuickBooks Self-Employed, especially if your bank disconnected or something like that. And it's also the simplicity of QuickBooks Self-Employed all merged into one. So it's not as complicated as QuickBooks Online. So it's a really nice blend. So question I keep getting of, why should I upgrade? Well, unfortunately, you're kind of being forced to, because they are going to sunset the old product, but I promise you it's going to be a worthwhile upgrade. So get upgraded as soon as possible. That leads me really nicely onto the other question I get asked a lot, which is, when should I upgrade? When is that important date to get the upgrade in? Well, the big important date is really, I would start this tax year that we're in now on QuickBooks Sole Trader. The ideal situation for you is to be able to finish your last tax year in QuickBooks Self-Employed. So as recording, that will be the 24-25 tax year. Finish that completely in QuickBooks Self-Employed. Get your tax return submitted, go through the rigmarole, download all the documents we would always have said on this channel, and go through that checklist that we've done on previous videos. Then start this year, so the 25 to 26 tax year, start it in this year on the new QuickBooks Sole Trader. Ideally, give yourself a bit of time to have both of them running in parallel so you can understand how to kind of figure out both ends of them. Remind yourself how you're actually dealing with it in QuickBooks Self-Employed, and then transfer that skill set over to QuickBooks Sole Trader. That's by far the best way. So when to upgrade, there's no time like the present. Finish that last tax year off, the 24-25 from the Self-Employed, and get that into your tax return. Download all the recommended documents. Leave it running for a month or so while you're kind of getting used to moving over, but ultimately start the 25-26 tax year in QuickBooks Sole Trader. Now this is feedback I've had from one individual, and I'm just going to go through so we can all see the same things. They say they've signed up and just testing Sole Trader. No email forwarding received, that's a pain straight away. I completely agree on that one. And what they mean by that is, in QuickBooks Self-Employed, when you were able to get transactions into the receipts area, you were given the option here to forward directly as an email address, which kind of really made it nice that you're able to just set an email address, send it straight through and put it from there. We've not got that yet, and in my opinion, we're still missing some major features within the QuickBooks receipt capture area, so we're hoping some quick updates on this. One of the nice things though is this add from mobile device function that is brand new. So the idea there is that you don't have to open up the device, you literally click on add mobile, scan a QR code, get that transaction directly into QuickBooks. The next question is all about this transaction list. Another thing that's annoying somewhat is that Self-Employed is much better with the transaction list. It's better that when they start life as uncategorized, and then when categorized they disappear off the list, so you know where you're up to. With Sole Trader, the AI categorization isn't great and the whole list stays there. I don't have a clue where I'm up to. I like it to disappear when I've dealt with it. Anyway, sure you know this. Thanks for the update and continue testing. So this is generally a valid concern, and this is one that I know a lot of people have causing issues with. And the idea though behind it is relatively straightforward. As you can see in my bank transactions page, all of my transactions are already categorized, right? I can see that Amazon income's gone to sales, eBay's gone to sales, eBay's gone to sales, and then all the others have gone through. Now, the way it would work in the traditional QuickBooks Self-Employed is that you would have them all uncategorized and you would have to categorize each and every one. Or you can use things like rules to try and speed it up. The way that it's designed this way though is that you get through. Now, what I would say is as an accountant, we have this really handy feature called the Reviewed tab here. And I think for some people, there may be a benefit for us to kind of give the feedback to QuickBooks to say, look, let's have a decision if we want this on or off. Because for some clients, like the one that I'm talking to at the moment, they really want that satisfaction that they've gone through and reviewed them. It's great that us as the accountant can see it and we can see it from here, but I think from the client's point of view, they want to know as well. They want to have that comfort. They want to feel good about it. Now, what I would say is that it's really, really good at learning those categorizations. So now that I've gone through and started to kind of categorize a couple of these, it's starting to figure out exactly what it should be going forward, and it is learning so that it comes through. But then every so often just these random ones come in, and it's my job as the accountant, or it's my job as a client even, to make sure that these are categorized correctly. And without you having an opportunity to really go through and, you know, quote unquote tick those as you go along, it is tricky. So as an accountant, I do have these nice features here where I can tick to say the reviewed. That gives me a little bit of confidence as I was going through. Maybe that is something as a feedback that we need to be pushing back to QuickBooks, say, let's figure out if we can have that functionality for everyone. Because I completely agree. You want that comfort, you want that ability to go through and just make sure that you're happy with those that have been updated already. Another question I keep getting asked is, loving the new tax update. So I think a lot of people are positive about this new tax update here, and the fact that we have a new area and you can see these going through to these individual transactions. But we can't go in this time and amend the transaction. That was a bit of the feature that we loved in QuickBooks Self-Employed. When we were going through, we could go through here saying, yeah, we're happy. What about if though this grid serve wasn't correct? It does take me to that individual transaction, and then I can change it, and for some reason it's gone to phone now and I can put it to travel, but then I can't get back. And if I just close this down, then I'm back to where I was. Then I have to go back to my taxes, find my transaction I was just looking through, go back to it from here, go back into it here, and then I'm able to start going back to this list. Now, it would be nice if we can maybe use the feature where we can duplicate the screen or open a new tab or something. But unfortunately, as soon as I click into it now, I'm taken to that transaction, which is nice, but then I'm kind of lost now and I can't get back to where I was. So I do understand why that is a bit of a frustration. Whereas before, this taxes screen, when as soon as we clicked into it, we'll go into that particular area, make the adjustments. When we came back out, we could then review it from there. Like for here, there's no way I should have any wages or staff costs. So I'm going to have to go in there, find the transaction, put the transaction to something a little bit more thingy. So in this case, it'll be the car and van one again. Press save. And now I've got to go back to taxes to then go back to where I was before. So not a great solution right there, and you kind of get a bit lost when doing it. So it's definitely something that could have a bit of an improvement in my eyes. Another question I get asked quite a lot is, where's my mileage going? Unfortunately, this is one of the feature priorities that hasn't made it yet. And it was one I keep fighting the good fight for this one. But unfortunately, you're going to have to manually put those in it yourself. My best way of doing this for you guys is just to say, look, treat your bank account as your transactions. So find out what mileage you've actually done by going to the mileage area, total up that mileage and pay yourself back what it tells you to pay yourself back. Transfer the money from your bank account to, say, your personal account, create that transaction. That transaction will then appear within QuickBooks and you can allocate that through there. That's going to be the easiest way of doing it. Unfortunately, there's no easy way now to get that transaction into QuickBooks because it's not, unfortunately, linked like it was in QuickBooks Self-Employed. Another people have been asking me is, can we now submit our self-employed tax returns through this? Unfortunately not, unless you're an MTD user, so that's Making Tax Digital. If you've been signed up for the beta for Making Tax Digital and you qualify for it, then yes, we can activate it and you could submit your tax returns directly from here. But if you're still doing your traditional once a year tax return where you complete it by that 31st of January, then unfortunately you can't submit. But it's the same as QuickBooks Self-Employed, right? So we're not losing any functionality here. But what you can do is you can go through and you can put all the information you need in directly from here. Bank, credit cards, phone, tax, all that sort of stuff. It tells you exactly what box number is going to be there and you can use that to push it through quite nicely into your QuickBooks Online. One of the questions I keep getting asked is, Aaron, you mentioned about having the ability to have custom chart of accounts. And yeah, that is completely the case. Unfortunately, it is hidden behind the accountant's area. So as the accountant, I can go to chart of accounts. I can then add what we call manage mappings and add new categories for clients. I'm doing that on a regular basis for our clients at the moment at Boffix. My advice to you is to get yourself connected to an accountant in one way or another. They then ask them to go through and do it. Worst case scenario, use our store link, go to our e-store, get yourself a QuickBooks Sole Trader app through there, and then we will be able to do that on your behalf as Boffix and put those in. So it is a really good feature. Loving the fact that we can finally do this. I've got a lot of clients who are absolutely loving that ability, but just be aware that you need to have an accountant to be able to get that information directly in. Another question I asked is, can I then easily upgrade? And yes, you certainly can. This is one of the by far best parts about QuickBooks Sole Trader because it's actually part of the QuickBooks Online platform. If you want to upgrade, it is literally just a case of flick a switch and you go from QuickBooks Sole Trader to QuickBooks Simple Start, and you can go all the way up to Advanced if you need to as well. So if you suddenly become VAT registered or you suddenly need some more functionality like stock management or something like that, you're going to have that ability to do that directly in here, and I absolutely love that feature. A lot of my clients have already taken advantage of it. They find it so much more useful, and at a click of a finger we can swap them over to the right package for them. So QuickBooks really is now that solution that you can start a small side hustle type business and you can grow it all the way to a multinational business if you want to, or by using QuickBooks Online. This question came through from an accountant, and it talks about, how's the bank reconciliation going to work? Surely there's going to be a lot of mess going on and clients are going to make this really difficult on us. And my answer to that is, I understand your concern. I had the same concerns myself, but promise you it's been built in a way that actually makes it really, really difficult for clients to make any issues when it comes to bank reconciliation. For our workflow, we basically ask our clients to upload the bank statements on a periodic basis. Some of them just once a year, right? And then we can go in, we can use the reconciliation process that we know and love, exactly the same as it has been since day dot of QuickBooks Online. The thing that you should remember though is that QuickBooks Sole Trader really makes it difficult for a client to post non-bank transactions to the bank account. That's why the receipt capture is a little bit less useful than it has been in the past, because now we can only link receipts to genuine transactions that are already in QuickBooks. We can't go creating new transactions to then make our reconciliation a problem. So they've definitely thought about it. They've definitely kind of stamped down on it. But in my opinion, though, that is still a little bit restrictive for clients. But at least from our benefit as the accountant, we should find no bank reconciliations going forward. Issues, that is. That way, we can reconcile, get that piece of confidence, get really happy with how it's done, and move on from there. So I am happy that bank reconciliation's there. It is a huge, huge, huge benefit to us. Straight away, it gives me more confidence when I'm doing tax returns and things for clients. So it is just something we just got to work with our clients a little bit more, find a workflow that works for them. But the good news is it's there. And from what I've looked at so far, we've not really had many issues with putting the information in. The only one you're going to work with your clients is maybe historical information. They may have joined and only put 3 months worth of the transactions into QuickBooks. You might need to help them of actually uploading that document or that data into it to carry on for the other 9 months, say if it's a 12-month period. That's really the only bit where we've had to work with our clients a little bit more, maybe hold their hands a little bit more. But honestly, once we've got that data in there, the AI categorization has done most of that work for us, and it's up to us. Just do that final bit of cleanup, find a bit of element from there. So yeah, it works really well. Can I use CIS in QuickBooks Sole Trader? And yes, you can, and that's definitely one of the big benefits over QuickBooks Self-Employed. Never had the opportunity to do CIS directly before. Now it's directly into this product. As soon as I create an invoice, I have the option to turn on CIS, and once CIS is turned on, I can then have it built directly within the product as well. Also notice the brand new QuickBooks invoice option area as well, so you're going to have lots and lots of functionality there that we've never had before in QuickBooks Online. So it is nice to have that play around, get used to it, and overall it's a better experience for clients generating invoices on here because they're putting the information directly onto the invoice that's going to appear at the client side. So it has definitely made it a lot easier to train clients on how to use it going forward, and I very much appreciate that. And there we have it. They're the main questions that have been asked. If you've got more questions about QuickBooks Self-Trader, put them in this video here. Use this comment section down below. I'll sure to go and do a follow-up video on this later down the line, and we can tackle some of those other major issues that people might be having. It's definitely a solution here where it's divided the community, right? There's some people who are absolutely loving the new AI functionality and how much it's easier to work with, and they can just get their data in there far quicker than ever before. But there are other clients out there that just feel like they weren't ready for such a big change to what QuickBooks Self-Employed, and I do get that. I do understand that functionality. All I can say is though that once you embrace that AI functionality and once you embrace that auto categorization section there, we have found that clients are much better off doing it that way, saving so much more time. Yes, it's not 100% accurate every single time, but it is really clever at learning. So once you tell it once, it should start learning from there. And we have been promised some fast follows coming as well. So we're expecting soon to see the likes of the rules being dropped and receipt capture being put back to how it should be. And fingers crossed we get that mileage feature coming back into the QuickBooks taxes area as well. That's my hope and pray. Hopefully that comes sooner rather than later. But if it does, you're already in the right place. So make sure you like, subscribe, and all that sort of stuff to this channel, because as soon as they release any of those features, you bet I'll be doing a video on it to give you some updates on exactly how that's going to affect you and your business. So my name's been Patrick. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to use that comment section below to let me know any follow-up questions that you want to talk about, and let me know if you like this format. It's a different one for me, right? I don't normally do these Q&A style ones, but I thought, you know what, I've got so many questions coming in about this. I could reply to each and every one, or let's get some content out of it. And I feel like getting some content out of it, always a winner, especially when people like yourself watch it. Give me a like, thumbs up, and subscribe and all that sort of stuff, because this is exactly why I do these things. My name's been Patrick. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this new series. Hello and welcome to this video. 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 Alright, let's get it set. Let's do this.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yes, I'm aware we go live every Monday.
The next generation is about everyone else that missed it.
Yeah. So current. All right, you've told us what you love about the industry, but what would you change about the industry?
Where do I start?
During that period of time, where did everyone turn to? Their accountant, right? Their advisors, the bookkeeper, and you all did phenomenal work for small business.